Greetings, Bat family, and welcome to Holy BatCast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. You can visit holybatcast.com and also find Holy BatCast all over social media on Facebook, Twitter, X, YouTube, and Instagram. Just search for Holy BatCast. You'll find us. If you're a big fan of the show and you want to support us, you can do that on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/holybatcast. And as always, got to give a big old thank you to our patrons. You guys are amazing. And I got 2 more patrons to give a big thank you to. First of all, Mr. Mike Ortego. Hey, Mike. Good to hear from you. Good to see your name again. And thank you again, as always, for your support. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate you. The other patron is Sonia Gregory, another friend of the show. Sonia, thank you so much for your ongoing support, for listening, and for now helping support the show through Patreon. So Sonia and Mike, you guys are awesome. This one's for you. You get all the thanks and all the appreciation. So thank you guys so much. So thank you to all our patrons, but especially today, Mike and Sonia. What else? We're part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out all those shows at rf4rm.com. And finally, I'm your bat host, Andy DiGenova. You can find me on Twitter, X, Instagram, and Letterboxd. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. Now, this episode is not the episode I meant to release this week. I told you guys last time I've got plans for a big 10th anniversary special. But as you can probably hear already, my voice is not quite up to snuff. I lost it last week and I had to cancel 2 podcasts, maybe 3. I had to cancel a bunch of podcasts because I just couldn't talk. And today's the first day I can kind of talk. But for the 10th anniversary special, it's just too important for me to come in not at 100%. And so because of the scheduling with Brendan and Jamie, we went ahead and pushed it until I could be completely ready to go. So that's going to be coming still, but just in another couple weeks. So I appreciate your patience. But I did want to get you something this week, something to listen to, even if, again, I'm not going to sound as good as normal. Sorry about that. And it's been a minute since we talked about news. And we've had quite a bit of little DC news trickle in here and there, and I thought it was worth discussing. So joining me to discuss all that, I have one of my favorite bat hosts who pops in now and then. He also pops in on Real Fans these days. He pops in on Grim Grinning Hosts. He's one of the co-hosts of, I was going to say Tales from the Crypt, Horrors from the Vault. It's Preston Willis. Hey, Preston, welcome back.
Hey, buddy. Oh my gosh. I'm as excited as anybody for that big 10th anniversary special coming. But hey, man, I'm excited to catch up today on some Batman and DC goodness. Yeah, it's good to hear from you, Andy. Let's not talk you out of your voice today. That's the goal.
Well, I appreciate that. I should have just sent you all the links and you could just do all the talking and I could just go, yes, agreed or disagree.
Head nod.
Because, yeah, Disorder has been delayed again because I have to do a lot of talking on Disorder. And I was, I was like, or you guys could just talk and I could just give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. or Catherine could talk for me.
Oh, there you go.
Because she can kind of read my mind anyway. So she pretty much knows what I'm going to say. So she can just be my voice. Anyway. Well, thanks for coming in, pinch hitting. We always do appreciate it. I know the listeners love hearing from you too. And yeah, we haven't talked news in a while because it's been real quiet. It's like as the closing of the DCEU and then as we wait for the new DCU, it's been a bit of a lull, but a couple little things have happened here and there that I thought were worth a mention. And with any luck, it'll be a shorter episode. And because
you've doomed us,
and that will never happen now because I said it out loud.
You doomed us.
I'm so sorry. But I mean, I'm going to keep my thoughts succinct, and then you can just go on and on as much as you like.
Well, like you said, I mean, it has been a quiet period, but man, it's been an exciting week or two with some images popping up of some casts all together, some table reads happening. So this is an exciting time, man. This, right when a movie, which I'm sure we're going to talk about here in a little bit, kind of gets the ball rolling, it's some serious excitement because we got a lot to look forward to.
I know it is exciting. It's an exciting time, and it's good to look forward to some things.
Yeah.
Before we get into all that, though, got to give a shout out to our friends over at Manscaped. So top of the morning to you, because guess what's coming out? St. Patty's Day.
Oh, that's right.
So this episode is brought to you by the St. Patrick's Day Shamrock Shavers, Manscaped. This year, don't just chase rainbows, make your own pot of gold and groom your little leprechaun with the leaders and below the kilt care. Whoever writes these, I love it. I can't take credit. It's the geniuses over at Manscaped.
Amazing copy.
Yeah, say goodbye to your clover forest with Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 and let your confidence shine bright. Embrace the luck of the Irish and join 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. So head over to manscaped.com and use the promo code BATSCAPED for 20% off and free shipping. So, guys, it's never a bad time to up your grooming game, whether it be New Year's or Valentine's Day and now St. Patty's Day. Use it as an excuse to go to manscaped.com, do a little shopping, check out what they've got. The Lawnmower 5.0, that's what they call out here. And I'll tell you, it is the best trimmer I've ever had. Highly, highly, highly recommend. It is whisper quiet, but it does the job and it's amazing. If you're not in the market for a trimmer, the Handyman face shaver is also the best one I've ever had, and I use that one every other day. It's gotten me down to like using an actual shaving cream and razor like once a week, because then I just use the Handyman in between and it's the best. So whatever it is you guys are looking for, go to manscaped.com, use the promo code BATSCAPED, save a little money, save 20%, get free shipping, and you're going to get yourself something nice, and you're also going to be supporting Holy BatCast in the process. So a big thank you to all those little leprechauns out there who've already made a purchase using our promo code. And if you have not yet, please do. I think you'll be very happy. And if you don't, that's okay. I'll never know the difference. But Manscaped has great stuff and you get to save a little money. And I think you'll be happy with the product. So again, manscaped.com. And if you're going to make a purchase, that promo code again is BATSCAPED, 20% off and free shipping. So thank you to all you out there. And thank you to Manscaped for continuing to support Holy BatCast. We appreciate them too. So ready for a little news there, Preston?
Yeah, man, definitely.
All right, here's my plan. I'm gonna say what I think in like one sentence.
Uh-oh.
And then you can just filibuster all you want. I don't care.
Oh, God.
It's fine. Okay, so the first thing I want to call out is animation.
Oh.
A little bit of animation here. So, Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2 is released in April. Comes out on April 23rd. So I thought that was worth a mention. Part 1 is already out there. Part 2 is coming in April. And then Part 3, we'll have to wait and see. I will say I have not watched Part 1 yet because I'm waiting for it to go on sale. I'll be honest.
Dude, same.
And knowing there's 3 parts kind of takes away a lot of the urgency for me. Maybe that's bad.
No,
but I'm like, I'll get to it, but like there's 3 of them. So, like I'll get to it when I get to it.
Sure.
But I heard Part 1 was good. I heard good things. And the 3-parter, honestly, part of me wants to just wait for all 3 parts and just like make an evening of it.
Yeah, watch them together. That sounds like a great plan. Yeah, the part 1, I'm looking here, the standard kind of hour and a half running time that we're accustomed to with these. And yeah, I mean, it seems to be, have some pretty decent buzz to it. So yeah, I kind of love that idea. Watching them all is kind of one big event.
Yeah, it would be fun. And again, maybe that is just me making an excuse because I haven't watched it yet. I don't know. But yeah, like again, like I will watch them when I watch them. Also, my thoughts of Warworld are now well documented. Oof. And that did not inspire me to be like, oh, now I can't wait to watch the next one. So maybe that's part of it too.
Yeah, needless to say, I did not go out of my way to watch that one. So there's that.
Yeah, anybody who did, I've not seen anyone have a nice thing to say about it.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad when you go to the letterbox and you're like, oh, this friend gave it 1 star. This friend gave it 1.5. Oh, look at there. There's a 2-star, Yeah,
I think the most generous one I saw was 2.5. So yeah. Anyway, point is, Crisis Part 2 is on its way in April. So for those of you who are like right on top of it, number 1, you're awesome. You're better than me. But yeah, mark your calendar, April 23rd, and then we'll see about Part 3. But I am glad to hear that Part 1 was good. And so yeah, we'll follow this saga as it goes.
Here. Yeah. I
will say something I saw today. I don't know how much weight to put on it because I just saw it from some random account. Is there was a rumor? I don't think it was actually announced, but it looks like a rumor right now, is that they're going to do an animated Jurassic League. Are you familiar with that comic book?
Jurassic League. It's
essentially the Justice League as dinosaurs.
Oh my.
Now, take this with a grain of salt because I don't even remember which account I saw it from. So I could be reporting bad info from someone who's just making stuff up, or maybe it's real. But I was like, now that I just thought that's perfect for an animated movie. Give me the Jurassic League. I'm down. So I kind of hope that one pans out.
I'm looking at this artwork right now. This is it. Like, are we for certain? Like, you didn't come up with this idea, Andy? This seems way too Andy
Right,
DiGenova right
right in
here.
my
Yeah.
wheelhouse. What about Batman, but dinosaurs?
Oh
Yeah.
my god, this is fun. No, I could totally see that. Absolutely.
And then, yeah, again, for like a one-off animated movie, that's kind of perfect. So yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
hope that actually becomes a real thing. But
Oh my goodness.
anyway, speaking of animation, something else that came out last week that's worth a mention is that they some of the folks who worked on Spider-Verse.
Hmm.
So okay, hold on. It was the production designer and producer of the Spider-Verse films that he, along with writer director Patrick Harpin, were in talks with Warner Brothers about a Batman Beyond animated film. So they did the initial pitch 5 months ago. And when they walked in, they were told, well, we're never going to make this, but feel free to pitch it. And after their pitch, it was like, well, maybe.
Yeah, you did so damn good on that pitch. You've actually made us think about it.
And the images that they shared are really awesome.
Yeah.
They're very Spider-Verse and Batman Beyond, which is, I guess, what you would expect. So I saw a lot of fans being like, "Oh, come on, make it, make it, make it!" And I'll tell you, and y'all remember from this show, I'm not the world's biggest Batman Beyond fan. I appreciate it for what it is, but it's just not my favorite version of Batman. However, these images even got me saying, "Yeah, make it." I would totally be
Hmm.
into it. So I didn't know if you saw this or how you felt about it.
Yes, it's funny. You and I are on a very similar page when it comes to Batman Beyond. Like, you know, not gonna go insanely out of my way for it, but like, you know, it's cool. Whatever. I
Yeah,
kept up
yeah.
with it when you guys, you know, covered it on the show and whatnot. So yeah, seeing these images. I mean, like you said, coming from the creators of Spider Verse. I mean, this it literally looks like that same world, but Gotham and with our Batman we know from Beyond. And I would be totally down for this thing. I'd go see it in theater, whatever they want to do with it. I mean, just the three or so images we got were really cool looking. I love the Ace chemicals over here, and just all the different landscapes we get. Yeah, it. I mean, seems like a perfect match, to be honest with you.
It does, and it feels like such an easy win, for
Yeah,
fans who've been clamoring for a Batman Beyond movie for
it's
years.
true.
Um, this is a great way to do it. And honestly, like and it is learning from the success of Spider-Verse, but that's fine, is the fact that, there was a group of fandom who was asking for a Miles Morales movie, but Marvel proper wanted to do Peter Parker movies. And so
Hmm.
by doing the Spider-Verse films as animated films that star Miles Morales, but also have Peter
Yeah.
Parker in a supporting role, they managed to have their cake and eat it too. So they could keep making Peter Parker live action movies and they could have Miles Morales animated movies, and everybody's got something. And I feel like you could get a very similar win-win scenario here. Is they're not going to make Batman Beyond the main Batman film franchise, but you can do it as an animated film franchise, and it lends itself to that perfectly. And then, yeah, I think everybody could be happy. I know that the pipe dream of a lot of fans is to get a live action movie with Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne. And I'll tell you, I would throw money at that in a second, but why not do it like this and have Michael Keaton voice Batman? That would, or voice Bruce Wayne, excuse me. And that would work just as well. So I don't know. Like, would it be following the success of what Spider Verse did? Of course it would, but that's okay.
Yeah, and that's I mean, that's a lot of success and, you know, a lot of potential success for WB and company.
Exactly. Like, would it feel a little derivative because Spider Verse did it first? Yes. Is that okay? Also, yes.
Yeah.
Like learn the lesson, and the fact that it's actually some of the same folks who worked on Spider Verse makes it feel a little less
Yes.
opportunistic. It feels a little purer of being like, hey, we did this with Spider-Man, now let us do it with Batman. So I hope that the WB takes another look at this, because just the waves that these couple images made online was really promising.
Man, and you and I are on the same page as far as like this seems like just kind of a no-brainer because we've even seen super recently you know, from WB them ending Superman and Lois over on the CW because they don't want two congruent kind of Superman stuff going on at the same time. And I know that we're going to have, two Batman projects, live action happening at the same time between Pattinson and whatever, Gunn and company are going to be doing. But this would be perfect. Put this over in animation. There's no confusion whatsoever that these are separate things, and yeah, I think it would be just like you said, have your cake and eat it too.
Exactly. Yep, for sure. And I did see the Superman and Lois thing, and I saw some fans who were very, I don't want to say upset because but annoyed, I guess maybe is a
Yeah,
better word about
yeah.
that. Um, I get it. Like I like Superman and Lois a lot. I think it's a great
Yeah,
show, but I also think that there's probably more to that decision than just
I'm
we
sure.
can't have two Supermen. I also, the CW has gotten out of the DC business in a
Yes.
big way,
Yes.
and Superman and Lois is the last man standing. And I'm glad they were given another season to allow themselves to wrap things up. And after God, how many years of the Flash and how many years of Arrow,
Mhm.
seeing what happens in those later years of those shows
Mm.
anyway, having a good strong 4 season run of Superman and Lois is not something I'm too disappointed with. So I'm glad we got it, and I think that those versions of those characters have been amazing. But I'm
Yeah.
not too heartbroken to see it end because 4 years is a really good run, and it's been a really good show. So I'm not as annoyed as some folks about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely among my favorite, like, live action DC, TV series stuff they've done, but, much like you, I'm just kinda like, yeah, it makes sense,
I
and
get it. Yeah.
I will say there's something to be said for kinda, quote, unquote, "going out on top," while you still have a good
Yeah.
product, so,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm all good with that. It could've been we've seen, some pretty harsh decisions being made in the last year or 2. It could've been much worse.
Exactly, exactly. Some of the other decisions coming out of there, are far more annoying and disturbing than being like, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna give you one more season to wrap things up."
Yeah.
All things considered, that's not so bad. Um, Speaking of DC on TV, this fall we should be getting a new DC show on Max, and that is The Penguin.
Man, I'm ready for this.
So The Penguin has officially wrapped filming because a bunch of cast and crew shared that on social media. Someone shared, I can't tell what this is, if it's a shirt, a hat, a towel. It's a piece of cloth that has the penguin embroidered on it. And it came from Carmen Ioho? Ooh, I don't know how to say that. Carmen Ijogo. Anyway, I'm sorry,
Hey,
guys.
good
I don't,
try.
I don't know. I don't know how to say her name, but she did post this and she said, "We made something epic. Can't wait to share with you." Hashtag HBO. And so the Penguin has wrapped filming, which is exciting. And then a week or two before it wrapped, we got an image of Colin Farrell on set as Penguin, as Oz, but holding a top hat. So I saw that making a little bit of the rounds too. So yeah, I mean, as you said, you're psyched for this.
Yeah, I really am, man. I mean, the cast is looking great. I mean, obviously Colin Farrell leading the way, Clancy Brown, there's all kinds of names in there. And I am all about some like mobby drama thriller type stuff, and I think this is going to be really really good, man. And being on Max, who knows? They could draw some people into this series that maybe are not even big comic book fans, just kind of looking for, a crime thriller show to get into.
Yeah, and I will say, we talk about how 2024 is a pretty quiet year for
Yeah,
DC. We're getting one movie, Joker Folie à Deux, which is, only kind of a DC movie,
sure.
really, Um, and so getting the Penguin series in the fall it's something else to tide us over while we wait for new movies in 2025. So it's also kind of nice that, we'll get this thrown our way in the fall and something to look forward to in the meantime.
Gosh, it just makes me happy that they, announced that they're, completed the filming and whatnot. Because you got to remember, I mean, they were just getting going on this thing when the strikes occurred, so it had to be put on a big hold. And yeah, so just really good to see that everything wrapped up and ended well by all accounts.
Yeah, for sure. I want to say, it doesn't say it here, but I want to say it was 8 episodes. Does that sound right?
That sounds right. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that sounds right. I don't have an exact on my end of
I
that, but
don't either. That's what I remember, but I also could just be making an assumption based on other similar type limited series, you know?
right. Yeah, limited miniseries type stuff. Exactly. That yeah. Let's hope there's I hope there's no less than 8. But
All right. But it will be interesting to see where it goes. It'll be interesting to see how it picks up from the film and then what it does to set up
yeah.
the next film. So I am intrigued. I I'm glad he got his hat.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, you had to be excited about
I'm
that.
glad he got
And
his hat.
I have this could be the fakest of fake news. I have no idea if this is accurate, but I started seeing some whispers online. Kind of once they were beginning to wrap up filming on this, that maybe Pattinson was seen around the set.
Oh.
Maybe I'm not claiming that as a fact. Let's be very clear on that. But I saw an image of him at an airport that seemed to be around the
Hmm.
area, and it was like, who knows?
I
So
feel like it will be slightly disappointing if he doesn't at least have a cameo.
just a pop up, just a
Right,
pop in.
like I don't expect Batman to star in the show, and he shouldn't.
Right,
But
right.
just at least an appearance to help lead into the next film feels like it needs to happen. And so,
Hmm.
it's one of those things where it's like, you know, don't get greedy, but at the same time, it should happen.
Yeah, and as much as I would love Batman, maybe we get Bruce or something along those lines. So yeah,
Oh
we'll
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
see.
exactly. So there you go. Something to look forward to in the fall with the Penguin. And something else to look forward to in the fall is Joker Folie à Deux,
That's
our
right.
our only DC movie of the year. So we got some new photos from the film as they start gearing up for promotion. I think the first trailer is expected soon as well.
That's right.
So we got 3 photos from Todd Phillips of Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga as Arthur Fleck. Are we still calling him Arthur Fleck?
I guess so.
I don't know. Or is he just is it Joker and Harley? Is it Arthur and Harleen? I don't know. We'll find out. So 3 photos, and well, let's talk about this first. So they released this on Valentine's Day, which I think was just a smart promotional thing of being like, hey, it's Valentine's Day. We're gonna have some mad love coming your way. Don't forget. And it's also just a nice reminder of, hey folks, don't forget, this is coming. It's coming. So what were your thoughts on these photos?
Oh man, I am kind of like the penguin. I'm also very excited about this Joker follow up, man, and I'm just almost more excited to see what the hell we're actually getting with this. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
We've heard so much. We've heard so much of the musical elements, and not to skirt around your question directly here, but this really raised my eyebrows this week, last week, whenever I saw this. Did you see the news about the budget of this movie?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that. That's why I stopped myself. I was gonna bring that up after the photos of being like, oh, let's do one thing at a time. But yes, the budget.
I mean, wow. I mean, there are reports that this budget is close, if not $200 million, where the first one, if I'm not mistaken, was well under 100.
It was
Um,
60. Yeah, first one was made for
60.
60. Yep.
Oh my goodness. So,
And that first movie, 60
wow.
is right. When you see the movie, you're like,
Yeah.
yes, this is a $60 million movie, and that's not positive or negative, but that yes, all of that checks out. The $200 million is crazy. I'm not upset about it. I don't care. It doesn't, doesn't affect my life.
Not our
But
money.
yeah, exactly. Not our money. But it seems like that is because everyone got huge paydays.
Yeah.
So much of it is not about what we will see on screen. It's about getting everyone to come back, including Todd Phillips, Joaquin, and Lady Gaga. So my understanding is Todd Phillips and Joaquin both got $20 million, and Lady Gaga got 12. So
Ooh,
you
Brinks
essentially
truck.
so essentially, the budget of the first film is what it costs just to get the 3 principals on the second film.
Oh, it's a funny business, isn't it?
It's nuts. So it's one of those things where, hey, the first film made $1 billion. It won Oscars. It was hugely successful. So From a business perspective, of course, you pay whatever it takes to do another. I get it. But it's just, if it's in the same style and tone as the first film, which I expect it to more or less be, it's not like this is going to blow up and be some massive epic in scope follow up.
Right.
It's just going to be everyone got paid more to do another one.
This is true, man. And just going back to those photos, I'm really liking what I'm seeing, although I don't, other than getting to see Joker and Harley, I don't really know what I'm seeing. So that again, that kind of goes back to just I can't wait to see what this is. On that third image in particular, I adore the set that they seem to be on with the kind of city
Mm-hmm.
landscape in the back and the big moon. I don't know if it's a matte painting or what kind of background that is, but loving some of the stylistic approaches that we're seeing thus far with Folie à Deux. And yeah, getting it later this year, man.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because that is also the image that jumped out at me. The first image is of Joaquin in his full Joker garb and Gaga in not really a Harley look. Her makeup is a little
Hmm.
Harley-esque, but for the rest of her outfit is very street clothes. It's just them standing there against a black background. So that one, it's like, okay, cool, whatever. The next
Yep.
one's a black and white photo of Joaquin behind bars and Harley or Gaga pressing her nose up against his and sort of a romantic looking. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of neat. But it's the third
Hmm.
photo that really struck me as something neat and cinematic. Because, like
Yeah.
you said, the set and the background, it's a cityscape. It almost looks like the set from Rear Window,
I know it totally does. That's what I
but
thought too.
with, yeah, a massive fake moon that's very stylized that makes this look almost like a classic Hollywood musical from the 1940s or
It
50s,
really does.
which that is the most interesting to me because it's very different, it's unique, it's got a lot of style, and I'm like, ooh, I want to know more about that. So if they really are mixing up the style in something like this that harkens back to the golden age of Hollywood, that's, I think, the most exciting.
Yeah, that's great. And we've kind of, just reading the tea leaves, kind of got that feel from some of the comments, super early when the movie was announced and through this process. So yeah, hopefully in that first trailer we get here in a month or so, we can get a little taste of it anyway.
Yep, it will be very interesting. That first trailer is sure to make waves, and so I am looking forward to it because, again, I think we're all interested just to see, after everything that we have heard about the film, what that really truly looks and feels like.
Hmm.
So, Joker Folie à Deux is coming out October 4th, and the trailer, I guess, is coming soon.
It's fun.
So again, that gives us something to look forward to, something to watch while we wait for the new DCU to take shape. But speaking of the new DCU, way back, James Gunn said the first DCU movie will be Superman Legacy. The first DCU project will be Creature Commandos. But the first DCU character is Blue Beetle.
That's right.
And so the Blue Beetle film came out in August. I love it. I think it's great. FYI. If you haven't seen it, you're only cheating yourself. I think it's great. But
I really like it too, which makes me sad, like where it ultimately ended in my DC rankings. I loved that
mhm.
episode, by the way. I was like, man, I feel bad, but it's not like, it was tough. When you got to do a list like that, it kind of is what it is. But I also I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, for sure. But Zola Mariduena was doing an interview, and it was with Screen Rant, and he did talk about Blue Beetle. So he said this. He said, I know we'll see Blue Beetle again, whether it comes in the form of Blue Beetle 2 or wherever. It's been really great to work alongside James Gunn and Peter Safran, who have graciously folded us into their new universe, even though it wasn't part of what they came up with. It's an honor. Now, where Blue Beetle heads in the future, I don't know, but I can confidently say that we will see him soon.
Well, that's
So
exciting.
that is exciting. That is nice to hear because, yes, that was the plan. That's what we were told, but the movie didn't do well. And again, I don't think that's any fault of the movie, but it didn't
No.
do well. And so you don't want them to go back on that and go, well, the movie didn't do well. So maybe let's just sweep it under the rug. I'm glad to hear that that is still the plan because even folks who didn't like the movie, which there weren't many, But everyone even said the best part of the movie was him. He was just a great and perfect Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle. And
He
so
was.
you don't want to waste that casting and that characterization on a dead universe, if you forgive me. And so we want to see him again. And the beauty of that movie is that it's not connected to anything. And so it is very easy to fold him into the new universe. And I am glad that that is the case.
Man, it makes me so happy to hear that because he more than anybody, but really the rest of the cast as well. You talk about getting really screwed over by that
Yeah.
entire
Yeah.
thing, man. I mean, with that coming out right, with the strikes and them completely just unable to promote it correctly and even act like they had anything to do with it. I mean, I can't imagine how difficult that would have been. And it's really sad looking back on it because that was going to be his kind of big emergence, right? And he just kind of got it stolen from him. So it's really, really exciting to know that he's, going to get that chance again to put on that really awesome freaking suit, by the way. And
Yeah.
hopefully, even though I don't watch this show, the last season of the, Karate Kid show he's on can do really well too.
Oh, you don't watch Cobra Kai?
I've never seen it,
Oh
man.
my God. It's so good. It's so good. I
Yeah, I've
swear to you.
heard
It,
nothing but great things. I am the world's worst when it comes to watching shows and series, but um, I've been told so many times that's one I need to make an exception for.
do you like the Karate Kid movies?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay. Then yeah. I'm not the guy who's like, you got to watch this, because people do that to me all the time and I get annoyed.
Sure.
Um, but Cobra Kai, I'm telling you, it's amazing.
I mean, he's the lead, right?
He's one of the leads,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay.
But yeah, it's really terrific. Anyway, yes, agreed with all of that. I'm glad that we're keeping him in the fold. I'm glad that we're getting his version of Blue Beetle again. Now, if you were a betting man, Preston, where do you think we will see him next?
Oh, good Lord. That's a great question. Oh, my goodness. It's so I don't. This isn't probably going to be as specific as you would like, but I don't think the next time we see him will be in a solo movie. I
I
definitely,
agree. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm not saying he won't get a solo movie again. I definitely think he will be, kind of reintroduced and integrated in some way, shape, or form with these other characters. Now, it's hard for me to see him popping up in Superman Legacy, to be quite frank with you, just because of how many people we are expecting to see in some shape or form in that movie. But I guess you never know, right? So we'll see. After that, though, it's hard to kind of, it's hard to say because I don't exactly know what's coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because they have not revealed what is going into production next after Superman Legacy. They said
Right.
other things will go into production this year, but they haven't said what. So we actually got that question on a recent episode, and we said, is it Supergirl? Is it
Mm.
Brave and the Bold? Is it one of the shows, whether it be Lanterns or Booster Gold? Like, we don't know what's next up. All we can do is speculate. I
Yeah, what I was gonna ask, I was gonna ask a two-parter. First of
okay.
all,
Oh, great.
and you may have answered one of these already with the question. So, firstly, sticking with what we were talking about, yeah, what do you think makes sense for him to show up in? And then secondly, what do you think is going to go into production after Superman Legacy?
I think, well, if it were up to me, I would put him in Superman Legacy,
Okay. And I
because
mean, you could see it.
yeah, I would, because it's sort of a shot across the bow of like,
Mhm.
we're committed to him. He's back. Even if you didn't see his movie, here he is. You'll see him again. I think
Yeah.
they should. I think it's again, I have faith that James Gunn and company can find a way to integrate him in a way that feels organic, but that's what I would do, and I wouldn't be shocked if that did happen, because he said we'll see him soon.
True.
And as far as live action goes, that's kind of the only option right now.
Yeah,
Unless he were
that's
to pop up in animated form in Creature Commandos, but that makes less sense to me.
yeah. Yeah.
The other thing I think would make a lot of sense, just because of the characters are joint, and that is Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. So if Booster Gold were
Mm.
to start moving forward, that's where it makes a lot of sense for him to come in, play a supporting role in a couple episodes or whatever. But we just don't know how far along Booster Gold is.
That would be a lot of fun. I would love to see that happen. But yeah,
Yeah.
we don't know when that's going to happen. So yeah, that's a good point.
And here's the other option. He could pop up in Peacemaker season 2.
Oh, that would be fun. I did not even think of that. And that, yeah, like that. I could absolutely see that.
Because that is going to happen sooner than later. That's the other thing that we know is moving ahead, aside from Superman Legacy. And Gunn has already said that he's gotten creative and in a way to do it, and that it can be a part of both universes. Peacemaker, it's maybe it's wrong to say silly enough, but it plays fast and loose enough that they could just say, yeah, we're part of the new universe now, or whatever. But
yeah, screw it. Yeah, come on.
We know that's moving forward, and so that is another option of something that he could do. There was a picture that made the rounds last week where Vigilante from Peacemaker. I'm blanking on the actor's name. I'm sorry, but I did love him in the first season. But he and Harcourt, who also happens to be James Gunn's wife, they were on the set of Superman Legacy.
Oh, that's fun.
And so it seemed like it was more he was showing his friends around than it was they were there to work. Right?
Sure.
His wife and his friend, he was showing them around the set, but it was fun to see them there. And it's like, well, obviously he's in touch with his wife, but to see that he's hanging out with Vigilantes still, like, it seems like Peacemaker season 2 is.
No, Andy, if his wife is on set, that means she's in the movie. Okay. That's what it means. Come on.
Anyway, excuse me.
That's fun though, man. Yeah, there's a lot of options. And God, us getting in this conversation, talking about all these projects. James Gunn is one human being. I don't know how this man does this. Like, I mean, because they're probably going to go into Peacemaker right after Superman Legacy, I would assume. It's a lot of work, man. I'm excited for all of it.
It's a lot for one guy, and that's why it's shocking that he is choosing to direct Superman himself. And he will direct other things. He's even said that too, but he did give a little bit of an update on Threads about Peacemaker season 2. And he said that he had finished writing all the scripts for Peacemaker season 2. So those are ready to go.
Cool.
But there's no word on when it goes into production.
Sure.
However, he'd also been asked about how Peacemaker will address the changeover. And so here's what James Gunn said. He says, all I can say is what I've said before. Canon of the new DCU starts with Creature Commandos and Superman Legacy. As to how Peacemaker fits in, you'll have to wait for that. But the first season is worth watching for a multitude of reasons.
Okay. Hey, I'll be patient.
Exactly.
I'll try to be.
But if the scripts are done, again, I could totally see him handing this off to other directors. He's not necessarily going to direct it himself.
Yeah.
But it does feel like this is one that is further along than some of the other projects.
All right. That's exciting, man.
And again,
it was a huge surprise.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was a surprise to all of us of how good it was. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And it's nice to hear that it has not been forgotten. We'll wait for more info on a timeline. But again, it is another option for not only how they explain how Peacemaker can be in this new universe, but you also could rope Blue Beetle into that.
I like it. Get him on board.
But James Gunn is busy. He is getting ready to film Superman Legacy, and word is Superman Legacy starts filming this week.
Man, this is exciting. This is when, man, what a great time to be a fan, and you got to really like embrace these moments, right? Like we're gonna start seeing photos and stuff from set, and that has really already begun in an official way, at least, which is nice, right? We're not getting random set pics. So yeah, this was a cool kind of social media update from James Gunn and company.
Yep, exactly. Well, the filming next week did not come from James Gunn. It came from David Zaslav.
Hey, that guy.
That guy. I'm just going to say nothing there. Mm-hmm. But Warner Brothers Discovery had their earnings call last week. And so David Zaslav said that Superman Legacy will begin filming this week. And he said, bottom line, the studio has been underperforming, including at the end of the year where we had some struggles, but we're optimistic about this year, and it's given us a chance to have a lot of upside in the next 2 years. So previously, they had said that Legacy was going to start filming in March, but the rumor that's making the rounds is it's going to start filming on the 29th of February. So the last day of February, which would normally be the first day of March if it weren't a leap year. So that is exciting. And honestly, I could totally, and this is totally speculation on my part, I could totally see James Gunn going, hey, it's a leap year. Let's start filming on February 29th. It'll be good luck. Or something like that, you know?
It's true. Could totally see that, man. Yeah, the the images from the table reads that are happening and stuff. That's just awesome, man. That's got me thinking like, oh, there's like cameras in there shooting stuff for bonus features on the 4Ks, and like, oh, I just want to be a fly on the wall in there seeing what all these folks are getting up to. Really eclectic looking cast, man. A lot of great talent involved in this.
Well, speaking of, yes, they did the first table read, and you know that they are prepped and ready to shoot. And so they did. James, I think it was James Gunn. He posted it on Threads or Instagram. I'm not sure.
I think it was Instagram. Yeah,
he's definitely made the move to Threads away from X, but he does on Instagram too. But yes, he shared a cast photo from the first table read, and so you're right. You see them all there. You see Nicholas Hoult has already shaved his head.
That's right.
So we don't have to wait a whole movie for him to be bald Lex Luthor.
Good point.
That's not me throwing shade.
Yeah, look out, Andy.
Sorry, guys. I like that movie. I like that movie.
Hold him back. All right.
But yeah. So you've got James Gunn here with his entire cast: Nathan Fillion, David Corenswet, Nicholas Hoult, Peter Safran is there. Rachel Brosnahan is there. So, everybody is there. And here we go. Who didn't I say? Skylar Gisondo, Jimmy Olsen, Anthony Kerrigan, Metamorpho, Eddie Gathegi, Mr. Terrific, Terrence Rosemore, Otis. I forgot that Otis was in this.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Sarah Sampaio, Eve Tessmacher, Gabriela De Faria, the engineer, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Isabella Merced, Hawk Girl, and Rachel Brosnahan. Yeah, so what a cast. Nice to see them all together. Here is first of all, it's exciting. It's great to see it. I love it. I love the diversity in this photo. I love,
yes.
I love to see it, that.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Lots of women, people of color, everybody. I love seeing everybody in there.
Andy, on that note, I don't mean to interrupt you, but it kind of coincides with that. You know what makes me the happiest with this photo?
What's that?
Everyone looks so happy.
Absolutely.
Everyone is filled with joy in this photo. And let's face it, good God. I mean, you guys went over this, in your recap episode. Some of these movies have been anything but this mood, unfortunately, right. Both in the fandom and just everything. So I'm like, man, not only are we starting fresh, they look so happy to be there. Everybody's together. That really just makes me feel really good.
That's a great point. You're right. There's so much joy in this photo. And James Gunn is someone, ironically, a lot like Zack Snyder, whereas the people who work with James Gunn love working with James Gunn. Just like the people who love working with Zack Snyder love working for Zack Snyder. They both create this very happy, joyful, inclusive environment on set where people are very loyal to them as filmmakers and as leaders. And it's just nice to see that, you love that, because both of those directors, who I like, well, ironically, I like more Zack Snyder's than I like James Gunn's, but that's neither.
Sure.
But both of them, they have their family of collaborators that follow them project to project. And it's so great to see that here too.
Yeah. Love that, man.
So you're right. It's a joyful photo, and I love it. And it's exciting because they're ready to go. They're ready to go off to the races, and we can't wait to see it. Two things. First observation, it's interesting that David Cornsweet's all the way in the back where you can only see his face, and we know he's
Yeah,
been bulking up, and it's almost like they didn't want us to see that yet.
that's right.
Where it's like, David, get in the back. We don't want to see, we don't want you distracting from everybody
And
else.
he's rocking the hat,
Yeah.
super low key image of him for sure.
The other thing is, and we had been asked this in the past, is this is all of the announced cast. But we have not, aside from, we know Lex Luthor, right? But we thought we might be getting a Brainiac or some other villain of that level.
Yeah.
And they're about to start shooting, and they reveal the cast photo, and it's all the people we know about. So are the villains of this film really Lex Luthor and the Engineer? Is it just them? Or are they holding back and we don't know of someone else?
It's very, very, I'm trying to think of the word. It could, who knows? I mean, I would not be shocked one bit if there was more than meets the eye to this. And hey, if they stuck with what we have, to what we on the internet know right now, I'm cool with that too, So I wouldn't be shocked though. James Gunn, you never know what he's got up his sleeve.
I still expect to get Brainiac.
Kind of lean that way for sure. And I appreciate that too.
Yeah. And yeah, again, maybe they're just holding it back. I don't know, but it's interesting, and it's just something I thought of because Lex and the Engineer is a very interesting combo for, right?
That's a good point.
Especially because I know nothing about the Engineer. When she was cast, I literally had to read the Wikipedia on the show because I'm like, I don't know anything about her. Sorry. Anyway, it's worth mentioning. I'm very curious. We'll see how it goes.
Absolutely, man. Pumped to see developments for this thing for the next number of months.
I will also say the fact that, yes, it's the cast photo. Everyone's in there for the table read. Great. But the fact that Metamorpho, Guy Gardner, and Hawkgirl are also prominent here leads me to believe they will not just be cameos. They will be integral characters to the overall film.
Definitely.
And I think that's great. I think that's exciting. Mm-hmm. And I love me some Nathan Fillion. What nerd doesn't? He's the coolest. And him as Guy Gardner, I think, is going to be a ton of fun. Although he doesn't have the bowl cut yet. So still waiting on that.
True. Good point. Wait until the last minute on that, it looks like, which I don't blame him on.
I will say, I love the guy. And I think I've said this before. Like I've been lucky to meet a lot of famous people over the years. And Nathan Fillion is one of the kindest, most genuine people I've ever met. He's just so sweet. And so I love to see it.
That's so good to hear.
And then the other little tidbit that came out of the table read is the fact that some of the cast shared on social media their nameplates from the table read.
Oh, yes.
And on those nameplates were their names and their roles, but also a logo of the Superman shield.
Mm-hmm. And it looked pretty familiar, didn't it?
It did. So it is not the classic old school Superman shield. It is the Kingdom Come version.
Yes,
That's
it is.
A little more angular. It's a little more abstracted, but it is also the one that was worn by Brandon Routh in the Crisis crossover in the Arrowverse. So the question is, will this be the Superman shield used in the film? And how do you feel about it?
Man, I know, right? You would imagine it is if they're using it, for their table reads and whatnot. It doesn't mean it has to be, but hey, I wouldn't be upset with it. It's certainly different than what we've gotten before on any film, anyway. So sure, hey, as long as it blends well with the suit and everything, I'm not going to throw a fit about it. I will say that Rachel Brosnahan, of course, our Lois Lane, she was kind of quoted this week talking about seeing the suit for the first time and basically saying how much she loved it and can't wait for the fans to see it on down the road. So, yeah, but between our first look at a potential symbol anyway, right, and kind of hints on the suit, this is great.
Awesome.
I hope you like the S, if you will.
It is not my preferred. I do like the classic one better, I'll be honest. But for me, it's like close enough. It doesn't bother me
Sure.
either. Yeah.
That's me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I prefer the classic one over this one. But if you wanted to do one that's a little different, just to give it its own identity and to embrace a different aspect of Superman, I also have no problem with that. So, and it's also close enough to the classic one that it's certainly not the hill I'm going to die on. So,
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think that if you're using it to put on the nameplates for the table read, odds are very good that's what they're using.
Yeah. Yeah, and somebody shared this, and I thought, oh, that's a pretty good idea. I don't know how long ago this was. I have a feeling it was a while back, maybe during the script process or something. But James Gunn basically shared a cryptic tweet. I can't even remember what the exact tweet said. Something along the lines of like, you know, big plans coming. It was kind of like a thinking tweet. And he shared a picture from that comic, and it was that exact same symbol on
Yeah,
Superman's
yeah.
chest and all that. So it's kind of like, oh, all right, things are adding up a little bit.
Yep, I remember that. It was the Kingdom Come image of
Hmm.
them around the table, right, with the plans.
Yes,
And
exactly.
yeah, so it seems like he is a fan of Kingdom Come, at least to use the images to put out there. So yeah, I'm good with it. It's cool. I have no issue with it. It looked good on Brandon Routh when they used it for Crisis. So if that's what they're using for this, great. Go on, do your
You,
thing.
you you mean to tell me you're not done with the movie because of the symbol, Andy? Is that what
This
you?
movie is going to be garbage, and I don't want to see it.
Uh,
So not
oh,
going to
okay.
happen.
Yeah, fair enough.
This universe has already failed.
We will not be covering Superman Legacy on BatCast ever again. Thank
Cancel the
you.
universe. And I didn't bring it up, but as we're talking, I was just reminded that we also did get an announcement for the composer.
Oh, did I completely miss that?
Maybe. Because again, these things they come and go or slip through the cracks, and I had forgotten until we were chatting, and I was like, oh wait a minute, we also know who's making and composing the music for Superman Legacy, and
That's
that
exciting.
is a James Gunn collaborator. As I said, James Gunn likes to use his team, John Murphy,
John
and
Murphy.
I didn't know him by name,
Yeah.
but John Murphy did Sunshine. 28 Weeks
Oh,
Later, The Last House on the Left. So he did some horror stuff. He did Kick Ass. But most recently, he did The Suicide Squad and Guardians 3 with James Gunn.
interesting. Okay. Man, this is obviously a big important job. So I'm going to need to go back and give those a re-listen. What a man. Yeah,
So,
like those don't really stand out to me. I can't
yeah,
remember much. Not in a bad way at all. I just like I said need to go back and give it a re-listen.
same. When he made the announcement, I was like, John Murphy. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, of
And I love movie scores. You know this. I listen to
course.
them a lot. And so I have strong opinions on composers. And when I heard the name, I was like, oh, okay, I got better look that up. Um, and The Suicide Squad, I have no recollection of the score in that film. And
Yeah,
same
because
with
the soundtrack stands out so much, you
and
know?
same with Guardians 3. Neither of them
Exactly.
are movies where the score I remember.
Yeah.
So I do want to go back and listen to both of them to see, yeah, to see what this guy's working with. But like you said, it's a big job. There's a lot of pressure. Music is very important to Superman, and so I'm rooting for him. And I hope that he's up to the task, and I hope that he knocks it out of the park. Because yeah, like you're following in some pretty big shoes after Hans Zimmer and John Williams.
Yeah, to say the least. One could argue the biggest shoes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Hans Zimmer and John Williams, yes, you might argue, are the two most influential film composers of all time.
Man,
I don't think that's speaking out of turn to say that.
no, no.
So yeah, I mean, he's got a lot to live up to, but I hope he does it. I hope he's ready to go, and he's got some amazing ideas, and he's got an amazing new Superman theme that's going to blow us all away. But yeah, my homework is to go back and listen to the scores for the Suicide Squad and Guardians 3, and hopefully that will get me a little more excited.
Wow. Yeah, that is exciting, man. It's so funny. We were talking about the Suicide Squad a second ago, and as well as Guardians 3, and how the the music soundtrack stands out a little more than the score itself. My wife and I, we were at dinner last night, and there was a song playing, and her and I both were like, where the hell do we know this song from? Like, this is so unbelievably familiar. And I had to Shazam it because I had to. And it was from the Suicide Squad, the scene where Harley is kind of like going on the date with the dictator and stuff.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's the Suicide Squad." Yeah, it was funny. We had a laugh,
Nice.
but yeah, I'm excited to go check those out again to see this guy's work. Because yeah, you and I both, man, we're big on scores, so excited to see
Yep.
where this could go.
Yeah, I hope he does it. I hope he nails it. It's exciting. We shall see. Cool. God, there was something else I was gonna say. I just lost it. You're talking about music scores. Oh well. Oh well, couldn't be
Happens
that
to the
important.
best of us.
Yep. Couldn't have been that important, but that's what we got for Superman Legacy. And you're right, because they're gonna start filming next week or this week, excuse me, now in a few days.
Hmm.
Um, that just means more is coming, and that's exciting. We're gonna get that reveal of the suit, and we're gonna get reveals of the characters, and it's a fun time to be a fan, and it'll be fun to follow the production on this film.
July 11th, 2025.
Woohoo!
That's right.
Mark your calendars. Awesome. Well, that's about what I got for news, but that was a fair amount.
That was and pretty, pretty pertinent stuff. So yeah, I'm glad we had the opportunity to kind of go over it.
Yeah, it's good to catch up on some stuff. So very cool. More news as it develops, but something else that we're going to catch up on because we've been slacking, or well, maybe not slacking, just distracted by other things. We're going to review the next episode of The Batman. So the next episode of The Batman, Season 2, Episode 9, Ragdolls to Riches. This one aired on July 16th of 2005, and it was directed by Sung-Hoon Kim and written by Adam Beechin. So we got a Batman Catwoman episode with special guest, the Ragdoll, or maybe it's just Ragdoll. Maybe there's no the. But Catwoman is out trying to steal an animation cell that Ragdoll is also after. So he thwarts her robbery, and now she's got a new enemy. So she's out looking for a new mark, and she sets her sights on Bruce Wayne. Turns out Ragdoll has as well. So Selina Kyle meets Bruce Wayne for the first time, which I forgot about. I thought they
Oh,
had met
cool.
previously,
Okay.
but previously it was only Batman and Catwoman. This is the first time that their alter egos meet. And so Selina and Bruce meet at a party. They go on a date to good old Wayne Manor, which allows Selina to case the place. Turns out Alfred makes great nachos, which made me just want nachos.
Right. Oh my God.
I love that for them. And so Selina and Bruce connect, and Selina decides Bruce is very boring, and there's not even anything that's worth stealing in his house. But Ragdoll disagrees. So Ragdoll shows up, and he steals something from Bruce, and Bruce and Selina, neither of them can reveal who they truly are. So they both plant different tracking devices on Ragdoll.
Yeah, I
Which
love that. Just
I
right
love.
one right after the other.
Yep, I think that's great. And so then they separate, and then Batman and Catwoman give chase to Ragdoll, and they're like, wait, what are you doing here? And so they manage to go after Ragdoll, but he gets away. And so Bruce or Batman sets a trap for Catwoman by revealing the reopening, whatever, of the clock tower in Gotham, where there are allegedly 2 cat's eye emeralds that have never been found, knowing that Catwoman can't resist. And therefore, Ragdoll also won't be able to resist.
That's right.
So they all converge again on the clock tower, have a big 3-way battle between Batman, Catwoman, and Ragdoll after these emeralds. And Batman manages to keep them both, and he manages to sell them and donate the money to whatever thing Selina wants to, which turns out to be an animal rescue. And so it's because he's not sure what's going on with Selina, but he's a little distrustful. So Ragdoll is captured, Catwoman gets away, and that's where we leave it. Where Bruce goes, there's more to Selina than meets the eye, but they don't manage to find out who each other is. But he knows there's something else going on there. And so that's Ragdolls to Riches. So, Preston, you were telling me before we started recording that you've not really watched a lot of the show.
Yeah, man. What's funny is I obviously listen to every episode of the BatCast and appreciate when you guys go over it. But as I've already established, not the best with shows. I mean, I'm the worst. So yeah, man, I had only ever seen, maybe an episode or so. You know, I was telling you that I had watched the Dracula film that I like a lot, and I tend to revisit that come spooky season and whatnot. But yeah, so this was a really cool opportunity when I knew we were going to cover this. Like, oh, cool, okay, I get to watch this and get a feel for it and go over an episode. So yeah, this was interesting. You know, it's being such a huge fan as we all are of Batman the Animated Series, it's cool to see kind of the different directions they go with these different iterations. First of all, with this particular episode, we start off by the theft of animation cells. I'm like, yeah, that's my kind of criminal right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I am down with that in a big way. Ragdoll. Okay, so Ragdoll, I'm pretty sure is going to be starring in the next James Wan horror movie.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I could totally see
I'm
that.
okay with that.
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
Could totally see that. But yeah, I mean, generally, I was, pretty well entertained throughout this episode. I don't know if it's one that I feel like, in the broader scheme, broader context of this series that I would, go back and revisit. But nonetheless, I thought, in and of itself, it was totally fine. That clock tower, putting off some big, great mouse detective vibes.
Yes, absolutely.
From
Yeah.
its kind of CG gears and whatnot. But yeah, what did you kind of generally think about this episode?
I really liked this one. I
Yeah?
thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Cool.
I liked it because it was a Batman Catwoman story, and it follows the tradition of great Batman Catwoman stories where there's something going on with Batman and Catwoman. There's something going on with Bruce and Selina, but they don't realize it. And I love
Yep.
that dynamic. And I think that's a lot of fun. And it is somewhat historic in that Bruce and Selina finally connect in this episode. So I really liked that dichotomy of the two relationships happening independent of each other, or at least they don't realize that they're connected. And then Ragdoll being a wild card thrown in the middle to really mix it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Ragdoll was cool. I liked him
I
a
did
lot.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked his design. I liked how he was such like a contortionist.
Yes.
I would like to know more about him.
Right. Yeah. I was like, that's the thing. I thought, do I not have context for this character, or is this the first time? Yeah, I had no idea as far as that goes.
This is the first time he's shown up. He's new.
Okay.
And so at least to my memory.
No, I could see that.
I should put out that disclaimer. I think this is the first time we've ever seen him.
It felt like that, but I also didn't know for sure.
And so, yeah, like we don't know who he is. We don't know where he got his powers or if they are powers. They seemed supernatural. It seemed beyond what just a normal person could learn to do. I like his look. I like what he does. I liked his personality. I thought he was a lot of fun, but I'm like, who is he? Where did he come from? And is that something maybe they answer later? And if so, great. That's something fun that they can pick up on and do later. But within the context of this episode, I was like, yeah, like I just don't know. I don't know who he is. But I thought all the other stuff I thought was really good. So yeah, I thought this was a strong episode. And I really liked the clock tower as like an iconic thing or place in Gotham that they could exploit for the big finale. I thought that was really smart, and I enjoyed it a lot. So,
It
yeah,
was
for me,
cool.
this was a strong episode.
Speaking of character design, far be it for me to be the guy drooling over a cartoon, but this version of Selena Kyle, hello. That's
100%.
cool.
Oh, I completely agree. I think she's great. It's funny. She pops up in her Catwoman outfit first, and Catherine goes, "Oh, I hate the way Catwoman looks in this. She looks like a bat."
Damn it, the ears. I was
The
going
ears
to
are
ask you
huge.
about
Yeah.
that. See, I did not like that either.
I'm used to it at this point, so I didn't even think twice about
Okay.
it. But yes,
Yeah.
like every villain in this show, when they make their debut or the first time you see them, you're like, "Oh, interesting, right?
Yeah.
That's different." But it's funny because Catherine's like, "Oh, I don't like the way Catwoman looks." And I'm like, "That's fair. I'm used to it, but I get it." But then yes,
Mhm.
you see Selena, and I was like, "Oh, but I do like the way Selena looks."
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. They did a great job. Another thing that I think might kind of skew my look at this show is, again, I said not having context earlier. Like with me not having watched the episodes prior, I don't really have a gauge on where this one sits, as far as how
good
good
or
it is or
bad.
not. Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, that's kind of where I am.
Well, I also think that I liked it so much is because if you watch the show, especially at the beginning, there is so much focus on the cops of
Oh, okay.
of Yin and Bennett. And Yin Bennett, I think he kind of disappears at the end of season 1. He showed back up in season 2, but he is sort of missing right now. And then Yin is still around, and it's fine. Like it's fine for Batman to have a cop friend, but I
Okay.
love that this episode doesn't have the cops. It's about Batman. It's about
Yeah.
Batman and Catwoman, and then this new wild card of Ragdoll. And so all the focus gets to be on them, which I think is also really nice.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So yeah, I thought it was a really good one. Actually, it was really fun. I enjoyed it. They all felt true to their characters. I mean, Ragdoll, I don't have a lot of reference, but I enjoyed him. So yeah, it was a good time.
Absolutely. I agree actually. Yeah, and might have to keep up with it moving forward. You never know.
I mean, and we've said it before, is once you get over the more drastic character design changes, it's a good show. And
Yeah.
season 1 is a little rougher because it's pretty formulaic. It's pretty much like every episode kind of follows the same format. And then they start learning what they can do and they start mixing it up more. And season 2, I mean, the end of season 1 and then definitely season 2, it's a lot stronger. And I thought this was really good.
Nice.
So, all right. Well, what would you give Ragdolls to Riches?
Oh, rags, dolls to riches. Okay, I think I am just gonna go with a nice strong B.
All right. That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I really liked it, I'm going A minus.
Nice. I felt like that might be the case.
Yeah,
That's good.
if I knew a little more about Ragdoll, it could have been a big old solid A. But yeah, as it is, I think it's a really good Batman Catwoman story. Again, as you said before we started recording, it's nice and efficient. I love the Great Mouse Detective Clock Tower. I thought that was really
Yeah.
fun. It's a good one. I enjoyed it. It just feels like a good classic Batman Catwoman story of like, oh, I
Yeah.
know she won't be able to resist these emeralds, so I'm going to go on the news and talk about them,
True.
So, yeah, it's a good time. All right, next one up is called The Butler Did It, and we'll get to that when we get to it, I guess. Yeah,
That's
no
reminding me of the
promises.
nachos.
Oh, yeah, and the nachos. So, all right. Well, that's it for this episode of the Batman. But now we got to check in with you, fine feathered finks, and crack open the Wayne Manor mailbox. It's time again for the Wayne Manor mailbox.
You've got mail.
Darren. What is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger. Sizzle, Master Wayne.
Okay, first email here is from Mike. It says, "Hey, I know James Mangold's Swamp Thing is a little while away, but I wanted to ask if that does well, do you think we could finally get Justice League Dark? If so, which characters would you like to see? Would you include Batman like the animated version or Wonder Woman like the recent comics? Thanks for providing great content during my commutes to work." Mike. Thanks, Mike. And it's a great question. So, Preston, what do you think about Mangold Swamp Thing, which we can't forget is a thing? And then could that lead to Justice League Dark?
Man, we are due for Justice League Dark. I feel like I feel like it would only make sense. I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful that we will get that. Man, I mean, as far as characters, we need all the staples, right? I mean, whether it's Constantine or Zatanna or all those folks I want to see in their Swamp Thing, obviously. So yeah, and who knows? I mean, maybe even we could get a little cameo here or there in Swamp Thing. You never know. So yeah, I'd be totally down for that, and hope that we do eventually get it.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny when we did our DCEU look back, we mentioned in passing a lot of the DC movies we were promised that we never got, and we're so long ago we forgot about. Do you remember when they announced Justice League Dark?
Oh God,
I do. It was going to be Doug Liman. Remember?
Wow, I do recall that. Yeah, it
Yep.
just seems like an alternate timeline.
It was. So I agree with you. We're overdue, and I really hope that Mangold Swamp Thing does set up Justice League Dark, because I love Swamp Thing,
Yeah.
but man, I love the idea of Justice League Dark. I agree with you with the lineup. It's got to include Constantine and Zatanna. Constantine, Zatanna, Swamp Thing. Yes, I would add Blue Devil. Not as a joke. I truly would. And then maybe the Enchantress, I think.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then I don't think I would have Batman or Wonder Woman involved.
Yeah,
I think a cameo maybe of either would be fine. But yeah, I'd rather leave.
How I felt.
Yeah, I'd rather leave the Justice League Dark for those characters, and I don't think you need to throw in one of the Justice Leaguers just to get interest. But yeah, I would love to see it. I really hope that is the plan.
Yeah, I totally agreed.
All right. This is a funny one.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, this one is from Slam Dannon, which I don't think is this person's real name, but when they use an alias, it's got to be good.
Good to meet you, Mr. Slam. Thank you.
Slam Dannon. I think Slam Dannon is also a new cop in Gotham. Detective Slam Dannon. Anyway, so here's what Slam says. He says, the astonishing level of disrespect that you showed the Suicide Squad in your DCEU rankings is nothing less than scandalous. Never in all my days have I encountered such a brazen affront to fine taste and decency. Ranking it so low was a travesty beyond comprehension, a stain upon the very fabric of our cultivated society. I am seized with a righteous fury, a burning indignation that demands immediate redress. As such, I issue this ultimatum, a rewatch or pistols at dawn. With deepest dismay and fervent resolve, Slam Dannon.
Well written, Slam.
And he says, I hope you know that this is all in fun. Absolutely. I think I got it. I got it, Slam. And you're right. You're right. So I'm going to choose Pistols at Dawn just because I've always wanted to do it.
God. So, hey, get this. I would have to go back. Maybe you could remind me of where the Suicide Squad ultimately ended up on you guys' list. But Slam, you might be not so mad at yours truly here, because looking at mine, it came in at number 7 overall
nice.
on my list.
That's not bad.
That is between, so number 6 was Aquaman, and right behind the Suicide Squad, a lot of people won't go with me on this one, but Wonder Woman 1984. So yeah, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, number 7, not too shabby.
That's good. That's good. I do have it pretty low, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. I do like it. But
well, that's
yes,
just what we talked about with Blue Beetle earlier. Hell, the Blue Beetle's way down my list, and I feel bad for it, but that's just kind of where it is.
Yeah, I had it pretty low, but I actually agree. I even said it on the episode. I'm like, I am due for a rewatch. I think I only watched it when it came out. I haven't watched it since then. And that's not because I didn't want to. It's just haven't gotten around to it. So
I need to as well.
I'll rewatch it, Slam, so you don't have to shoot me.
You know what, Slam? It's going on the watch list right now. Just put it on
Making
the list.
it
So it's
official. Okay.
That's it.
All right. Oh, this is a long one. I gotta save the voice. Mark, you're killing me here, man. Okay. I like the short ones, especially when I'm in this condition. Okay. So this is from Mark Bickford. It says, I made it through your 2-part Snyder Cut length look back at the DCEU. I had a few thoughts, and I swear I'll try to keep it brief. Well, just looking at this, I think you already failed, Mark. But it doesn't mean I don't love you. I do. I'm just...
He tried, Andy.
He tried. He said, first, I've been listening to your old episodes before I became a regular listener. I relived those heady, naive days when we were eagerly looking forward to BVS. And I heard one particular pearl of wisdom from Andy. Oh, hi, Harley. Hey, how are you? How are you? Are you going to be at the show? The show? Do you want to say, yay, Batman? Yay, Batman. Okay, go back with mommy. I love you.
You're the best, Harley. Now that was awesome.
Oh my God, she's the best. The other day we were at the store and they had all these like kids drinks.
Yeah.
And they all had little tops and like they were like Paw Patrol and
Different characters.
Peppa Pig, and they had Spider-Man, and they had all kinds of different tops. And she was looking at them all going, "Where Batman? Where Batman?" And I was like, that's the best.
You, sir, are doing the Lord's work.
Yeah. So anyway, I love it. And she did meet Spider-Man on the cruise.
Oh.
And she calls him Batman.
Yes.
Yes. I love it. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to Mark's email here. He says, I heard one particular pearl of wisdom from Andy on your Batman Forever episode that I think needs to be brought back up. Apparently I said this. I don't remember it, but this is amazing. It says, hopefully, oh man, when Batman v Superman comes out, it'll be universally loved, so I won't have to keep defending Man of Steel. Oh man, that hurts so good.
What a sweet thought.
Yeah, it said, like I said, naive days. I also wanted to salute some things that the DCEU gave us that we might not see again for a long time. We had a DC universe that literally began with the birth of Kal-El. That's an incredibly proper place to start, but I think it'll be a long time before someone tries to reboot a DC movie that thoroughly. We also got to see a fight between two Kryptonians and what it would actually be like. The moment when Zod throws Superman through 6 buildings at once still floors me, and Clark never once pulled a weird cellophane S-shield off of his suit and used it to trap Zod. So I'm going to take that as a positive and a negative. Because the positive is seeing a real Kryptonian fight in Metropolis. The negative is we never got to see the cellophane S again.
Oh, that's right.
Because I like the cellophane S.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid. It makes no sense. And I like it. Okay. Anyway, it says we got a massive tentpole like BVS, where not only was the villain's motivation the theological problem of evil, but if you wanted to embrace it, there was enough religious allegory to make a Narnia movie. It says, name another studio that would have had the balls to make BVS and Birds of Prey tentpole films. And don't say Civil War. Those will forever be unique in the annals of comic book films. And that doesn't even begin to touch Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm hard-pressed to believe anyone who considers themselves a DC fan didn't just lose themselves in all 4 hours of it the day it came out. All that being said, I'm now very much looking forward to the new DCU with no anger and no regrets, except maybe Batgirl. And I do have a question for Andy. What happened to holybatcast.com? It literally hasn't been updated with new episodes since number 200. Have a great week, Mark. All right, Mark. Great points all around. Thank you for bringing up my naive comment way back when.
That's awesome.
Not to give anything away, but if you like hearing random things that we said many, many years ago that we forgot about, you're going to really enjoy the 10th anniversary special that I've got planned.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess the only question is for me about holybatcast.com. And let me tell you. So in the early days of Holy BatCast, all of the tech stuff was managed by my dear friend, Wes. And Wes is awesome. I love Wes. But as the years went on, Wes had less and less time to commit to helping me with the show. So he taught me many things about the tech side of things, about some of the website stuff and posting to the website and everything. And so he taught me a bunch of those things. But one of the things that fell through the cracks was holybatcast.com. And because that he fully managed for me. And so I never we never took the time for me to take that over from him. And so, yeah, it just kind of, that sort of went by the wayside. I don't know how many people actually go there anyway. So yeah, that's why. And it's not because there's any bad blood between me and Wes. Wes is the best. And we still check in from time to time. It's just, yeah, like he got busy with other things and didn't have the time to commit to helping me with the show anymore. And nor should he. He wasn't getting paid. He was just doing it to be a friend. But Wes is one of the wizards behind the curtain on the whole Real Fans Network. And he doesn't get enough credit because he's the one who really helped us set it all up at the beginning. He set up the websites and he helped with all the hosting and creating all the shows. And so Wes, I don't even think he listens anymore, but big kudos to Wes for everything that he did to get us up and running. But as things became more day to day and I had to take on more of it myself, that was one of the things that, yeah, unfortunately I didn't do. And so sorry about that, but big shout out to Wes Davenport. Love the guy. And yeah, he's doing well.
Andy, as you know, as the tech wizard, Wes there, all was well between you two until he asked you to take a red or a blue pill. You didn't know where to go, and things just went downhill. So, no.
Yep, I know. I know all about it. So anyway, that was that. Next message is a nice, quick, succinct one from Sonia Gregory, one of our new patrons. She said, I just wanted to say happy anniversary to Holy BatCast. So thank you, Sonia, and I appreciate that. And again, that 10th anniversary special will be coming your way as soon as my voice is back to 100%. And then we got to get schedules to align again with Brendan and Jamie. But thank you, Sonia. I really do appreciate that.
That's fun. Yeah, I really look forward to that myself.
That's crazy. I'll tell you what I don't like, Preston.
What's that?
Is I don't like the congratulation messages I've got. And not that I don't like the messages. I love the messages. Yeah. I don't like the ones that end with here's to 10 more. Because I don't know if I got 10 more years in me. I don't know if I can do that. No promises on that, but I have loved every single message that I've gotten. Most of those I am saving though for the 10th anniversary special, but that one was so nice and succinct. I'm like, oh, let's just do it now. So, and especially because we mentioned Sonya at the beginning for being a patron. So it just made sense.
You're going to love mine. I'm going to put something along the lines of like, here's to the next 30. So
yeah, good luck. Well, at that point it will be Harley's show if she wants it. And you're just going to hear from her.
Fair enough.
Anyway, next message is from our pal Adil. It says, hey guys, I hope you're doing well. First of all, I really enjoyed the episode with Paul Shirey, but I could see why some people found it divisive. I didn't agree with all his points, but I did agree with the overall sentiment. And I found his perspective a refreshing take. Anyway, please keep on bringing guests that are divisive and challenging to the narrative, for it keeps the show interesting. Also, I'd like to extend my advanced and belated birthday wishes to Harley for her 2nd birthday. Kids grow up fast, blink, and then they're 5. I look forward to hearing more from you. Anyway, we got our composer. Oh, look at that. We got our composer for Superman Legacy in John Murphy. Now, I'm not familiar with his work other than Guardians of the Galaxy, and I've always found the Marvel's scores lacking. So I'm hoping it will be more memorable for Superman Legacy. What are some of the roles that you wish to see in the new DCU, and who should play them? I look forward to hearing from you, and sorry for the long email. Yours truly, Adil. Thank you, Adil. Oh, man. Well, again, Paul's appearance was divisive. I did address it, and I think that's just it. Is I try to make this show a safe place for all opinions, whether I agree to them or not. And the problem is people are like, it should be a place for all opinions as long as I agree with them. And that's not really how it works. If you're open to all opinions, it has to be some that you aren't going to agree with, and that's okay, But I think that's just it. But I'm glad that I'm glad that you enjoyed his appearance. And again, like, I love Paul. Paul's a great guy, and I loved having him on the show, and I loved hearing his input. And I still think we, together with Paul, made a lot of great points about what we need to do about superhero films in the future. So anyway,
man, I haven't got a chance to hear that yet. And what's funny is I've listened to, I think, 1 or 2 episodes after it, and I need to go back because I've followed Paul for years, his work, and we've been connected on social media for a really long time as well. And it was just so funny hearing the aftermath of that episode. And I remember at the time thinking, oh my God, I got to go listen to this. And even more so now, I'm like, yeah, I am going to listen to that Shirey episode because I'm very curious what people were kind of referring to on that. So yeah, anyway, good stuff though.
Yeah, well, I will be curious to hear your thoughts as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Any Harley did, yeah, she just turned 2 last week, so that is crazy. And you just heard her do a little cameo, so that's always fun.
That's right.
And we discussed John Murphy. But who would you like to see in the new DCU, and who should play them? Any thoughts on that, Preston?
Oh, geez. You're not going to like this answer. But first of all, I am not the guy when it comes to casting. So, whatever, whatever traditional fan casting you see out there, sure, I'm more than likely cool with it. Secondly, who do we want to see in it? That's a pretty tough question because by all accounts, I mean, it seems like we're going to get everyone. You know what I mean? Like we're getting people from all over the corners of the DC universe here. So I'm trying to think of some like secondary, tertiary characters that maybe we don't hear a lot from, but I'm just so excited for whatever they have coming. I'm just going to be down for it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm sure I could put together a wish list of sorts, but yeah, I'm just kind of more excited to see just what we get. And it seems like this is going to be such a broad universe with so many different characters. I think we're going to get some inclusion from most everybody we want, really.
Yeah, I agree with that. And as we've said always in the past, fan casting usually takes some prep. There are very few that you can just come up with off the top of your head. But I will say, I do want the new DCU to be all inclusive. I don't want to leave out any big characters because we just saw them in the previous universe. So I just hope that we don't wait too long to get a new Flash, to get a new Aquaman, to get a new Wonder Woman.
True.
I loved the previous versions of those. We will always have the previous versions of those, but I just hope that we're not afraid to have new versions of them, even though we just saw them.
That is a good call.
As far as fan casting, the one that, I've said this for a couple of years now, but it's not too late. Alexander Skarsgård should be Aquaman. That man he looks exactly like Aquaman, and he's great.
Yeah,
he
does.
And he's a little older now, but I mean, he's still not old. He's probably in his mid 40s, but holy crap. If you want an Aquaman that is 100% faithful, but is not going to be confused with Jason Momoa, there's your guy. I also hope we get a Batgirl. And I say bring in Leslie Grace to make amends for how you screwed her over last time.
That'd be cool.
And I want a Nightwing.
Yeah. Seriously.
So if we're talking about the Batman corner, which is obviously where I'm most invested, we want a Bat family. We know we're getting a Damian. I could take or leave that, but if we're getting a Damian, there's no reason we can't have a Nightwing and a Batgirl. And so, yeah, give me that, please.
Absolutely, man. I like that. Yeah. See, this is why I'm so bad at this, because there's a guy I have in my head for Nightwing, and I cannot think of his name. Actually, the main dude from Kick-Ass. We talked about that movie earlier with the scoring.
Aaron Taylor Johnson?
Yeah, I like that.
Craven?
Oh, yeah. Shit, that's a good point. Oh, my God.
Quicksilver and Kick-Ass?
Damn it, I totally forgot about Craven.
I mean, listen,
oh my God.
he's been Craven, Quicksilver, and Kick-Ass, so why not Nightwing too? I feel like he's a little old for Nightwing at this point.
He probably is.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to get a Nightwing, and if you've got Damian, there's no reason there can't be a Nightwing out there. But as far as who should play him, I don't really know right now.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got here next? I'm skipping over the 10th anniversary ones. This one is from Tom Fallows. It says, I really enjoyed your crossover with The Fire Rises, TM, for Batman's love interests. And I found it highly amusing that Joe's second favorite was Chase Meridian. He said, I feel the need to stand up for Chase. No, I'm not thinking with my little downstairs like Joe did. Although my VHS tape did get warped at a certain point of Batman Forever, and unlike Brendan, it wasn't when the car turned up. So my defense for Chase is I do feel that despite her needing a cold shower when Batman is around, her scenes with Bruce, Nicole Kidman does give a good performance, and she is a good psychiatrist. She's patient, empathetic, and slightly professional. It's just her character kind of devolves into a horny Bat fangirl. Anyway, I want to throw in my 2 cents. Tom Fellows, Liverpool. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. And okay. All right. Again, I like we said on the episode, I think that there is a good idea for Chase Meridian for being the psychiatrist who helps Bruce through his trauma, but I just feel it's so shortchanged in the film that it's hard for me to give it a lot of credit. But
Yeah.
your mileage may vary. I don't know. What do you think, Preston?
Hey, I'm sorry. Is that with just Meridian?
Yeah,
Thoughts
Dr.
on that?
Chase Meridian.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what he said, and I'm totally fine with someone defending the character and the relationship. I'm kind of more in line with you, Andy, but I don't know. I'm fine. Like I don't really have a strong take one way or the other. I do think she definitely evolves into someone that's horny for Batman, but hey, who isn't? Who isn't?
Yeah, I guess,
Um,
yeah. Hard to blame her, I suppose.
But yeah, like I don't have strong opinions one way or the other. Certainly not negative, or I'm not. That's like you said earlier. That's a hill I'm not necessarily going to die on either. So
But I think that we all can agree that her as number 2 is
Oh,
an insane take.
As number 2. That's
pure
up
madness,
there.
right?
Yeah,
Pure madness. Over how many versions of Selena Kyle? Over Rachel Dawes? Madness. We love you, Joe, but you're crazy. Like
No, I'm trying to pull the sword out, and Andy keeps pushing it back in. Joe, I'm sorry.
We got to insert that GIF of Will Ferrell. If I like you, but you're crazy.
Yeah, we certainly have got a number of iterations. So yeah, thinking of that number 2. Hey, not on the same page, but to each their own.
You know what? Menus at restaurants, and some,
Hey.
you know what, and some people's gonna order the liver and onions, and it turns out it's Joe. All right, let's do one more. We have tons more, but again, just for the sake of my voice, we're gonna do one more, and then the rest. I'm sorry, guys, we're just gonna have to parse out over the next few episodes. This is from Benjamin. It says, "Hey, Batcasters, in case you haven't been alerted by the bat signal, the original sriracha sauce has gone off the market." Okay, I didn't know that. All right. Anyway, my question, since this is clearly a crime against humanity, where do you think Condiment King would fall in the fight to get sriracha back? Oh, this is a real thing, I guess. I completely missed this. It says, do you think he'd fight for or against the return of this exceptional condiment? And what about Batman? If Condiment King was for its return, would Batman still have to fight his villain, or would this end in a case of helping the villain, bringing the ultimate good for the masses? Thank you for your deep thoughts on this pressing matter. Best regards, Benjamin. Wow, Benjamin. I'm apparently not paying close attention because I did not know about the sriracha drama that's happening in the outside
Yeah,
world.
what's up with that?
I don't know. The things you learn from the listeners.
Well, of course, Condiment King is going to stand up for sriracha sauce. I mean, that's a good condiment, especially for me. I'm a spicy guy. I dig the spice. So, Condiment King is going to stand up for it. And you know what? I do think it's going to be one of those great kind of end of the episode animated series installments where Batman does help out a villain for this cause.
I will agree with that. Absolutely.
Come on.
I mean, I think Condiment King champions all condiments, and that includes sriracha. And I think Batman will just, it will be a tenuous partnership for Batman to help him out.
There we go.
I'm going with that. I feel good about that answer.
Like it.
All right. Terrific. All right, guys, we're going to close the Wayne Manor mailbox for the sake of my voice, but thank y'all for writing in. If yours is in here, don't worry, we will get to it. Again, there's just a lot here, and we're just gonna have to take them as they come. So thank you guys who wrote in. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, please send that to holybatcast@rf4rm.com. And as it turns out, it's not too late to get in anything for the 10th anniversary, because that unfortunately did get delayed. But that will do it for this episode. Preston, thanks for making it happen. Thanks for joining me today and helping me save my voice.
Hey, brother, anytime you need me to chat Batman and DC for an hour and a half, I'm going to be down, all right? So, yeah, brother, thank you so much again for having me. And, man, I'm really looking forward to that 10th anniversary special episode coming in the near future. So, yeah, I'll definitely be listening for that. So, yeah, thank you so much for having me on. If you would like to keep up with me and what I'm doing outside of the DC world. You can follow me a few different places at Preston967 on Letterboxd. That's where I'm most active these days, logging all kinds of movies. I've been in a big dad movie phase, Andy, and it's
Oh.
kind of been awesome. I'm not gonna lie. Like yesterday was Patriot Games. Oh yeah,
Oh, wow. Yeah,
I'm
that's
down
nice.
for it.
Good.
I mean, that's like a dad Hall of Famer. So yeah, that's over on Letterboxd. I am on Twitter at Preston967. You can find me on Facebook under Preston Green. Yes, I'm kind of all over the place in the RF for RM boards. I'm not always the most like active as far as like commenting and posting, but I see everything, so I'm there. And you can also, if you are a horror fan, and specifically if you are a Tales from the Crypt fan, Hunter, my buddy Dan, and I, we do a really awesome show, Horrors from the Vault, a Tales from the Crypt fan cast, where Disorder style, you'll recognize that from RF4RM, we go over every single Tales from the Crypt episode, and we just are about to wrap up season 2, which has been fantastic. Andy, I appreciate you following us along on that journey. And again, that's Horrors from the Vault. We'd love to have you over there if that is something you're interested in. But again, brother, thanks for having me on, dude.
Yeah, of course. And I have been enjoying it. And it's funny, you said that your Letterboxd is you're going through a dad movie phase.
Yeah.
And my Letterboxd, it looks like I only watch movies with a 2-year-old little girl because they're only Disney movies. And that's because that's all I get to watch right now.
What do you get to watch right now?
It's
That's
just
fair.
Lion King, Frozen, Frozen 2, Moana, Frozen again, Nightmare Before Christmas, Frozen again.
Hey, at least you're logging them, at least you're doing your due diligence.
I am. I'm logging them when I watch at least like 3/4 of them with her. Like
There
when I
you go.
turn it on while I'm in the shower, I'm not counting that, but yeah,
Sure.
I'm logging them because I want at least the credit, but it's just, it's all it is. It's freaking Disney movies right now. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for downloading or streaming the show. Please do follow the show wherever you get your podcasts. Please rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. That's something else that you can do that's super helpful, and it is free. It doesn't cost you a penny. We would really appreciate that. Again, find Holy BatCast on Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, that email address again is holybatcast@rf4rm.com. Our theme music was created by the talented Gaurav Venkateswar. You can find his work at gvtunes.com. And don't forget to check out our sponsors at manscaped.com. Do a little shopping, and please use that promo code BATSCAPED for 20% off and free shipping. But that will do it. Thank you again for joining us. On behalf of Preston, I've been Andy. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for. Take a drink here. Because despite all our best efforts, we're almost in an hour already, so it's going to be just a regular episode. I lied. I screwed us over. I should keep my stupid mouth shut because, there's no such thing as a short episode.